How do you delete a 200-year-old empire from a computer screen 6,000 miles away? In 1995, the world learned the name Nick Leeson. To his bosses in London, he was the king of Singapore, a trading god who could conjure millions out of thin air. But behind the expensive suits and the champagne toasts, Nick was building a coffin, the most expensive coffin in financial history. Nick Leeson didn't start as a criminal. He started as a problem solver. Barings Bank was old. It was gentlemen's money. They had financed the Napoleonic Wars, but they didn't understand the new world of high-speed derivatives. They sent Nick to Singapore to trade futures, bets on where the Japanese stock market would be tomorrow. But they made a fatal, amateur mistake. In a bank, you never let the person who places the bets be the person who counts the money. It's the golden rule of finance, separation of duties. But in Singapore, Nick was the head of the front office and the head of the back office. He was the gambler, and he was the guy holding the keys to the casino vault. July 17th, 1992. A junior clerk under Nick's supervision makes a small mistake. She sells when she should have bought. The loss? £20,000? A rounding error for a bank like Barings. But Nick didn't want his perfect record stained. He opened a secret internal account. Account number 8888. Let's call it account 8. In Chinese culture, 8 is the number of luck. For Nick, it became the number of the abyss. He moved the £20,000 loss into the account 8. On the bank's official books, the loss vanished. It didn't exist. Nick realized he had found a glitch in the matrix. Whenever he made a bad trade, he buried it in the account 8. Whenever he made a profit, he showed it to London. To the CEO, Nick was making millions. In reality, the account 8 was beginning to bleed. By 1994, the hole in account 8 wasn't £20,000 anymore. It was 200 million. Nick was trapped. To cover the interest on his secret losses, he needed cash. Fast. He turned to a high-risk strategy called the short straddle. In simple terms, Nick was betting on boredom. He sold insurance to the rest of the market. He sold calls to people who thought the market would skyrocket, and puts to people who thought it would crash. By selling both, Nick collected a massive premium, cold, hard cash paid to him up front. To his bosses, this looked like pure profit. In reality, it was a high-interest loan from the market that he could never pay back. He was collecting pennies in front of a steamroller, and the steamroller was the entire Japanese economy. January 17th, 1995. 5:46 a.m. A magnitude 7.3 earthquake hits Kobe, Japan. Thousands of lives are lost, the city is in ruins, and the Japanese stock market falls off a cliff. Nick Leeson woke up that morning to find his secret hole had just tripled in size. His short straddle had backfired. The market hadn't stayed calm. It had exploded. Most men would have confessed. Most men would have run. Nick doubled down. He bought 20,000 more futures contracts. He was trying to push the entire Japanese economy back up with the bank's last remaining cash. He was a man trying to stop an avalanche with a plastic shovel. By February 23rd, the game was over. The hole was $1.3 billion. Every penny Barings Bank owned, plus hundreds of millions they didn't. Nick didn't wait for the handcuffs. He left a note on his desk. 3 words. I am sorry. He fled to Malaysia, then Germany, watching the news from airport bars as the world's oldest merchant bank collapsed into nothing. The bank that funded the British Empire was sold to a Dutch rival for £1 single pound. One man, one secret account, $1 billion lie. Nick Leeson proved that in the world of high finance, the most dangerous weapon isn't a gun, it's a back office password, and the silence of a bank that's too arrogant to ask questions. Money, power, and the markets. This is Capital Chronicles.